I just saw the Vivian Maier documentary, and it's very touching in many ways. Of course, I was already touched by her figure because she apparently didn't want to be seen, and in the end, after her death, she has grown famous worldwide. And of course I immediately mirror myself, not only because of her being a very lonely figure and people saying that she had mental health issues, or that she was weird, or that she was for example, at a certain point, one of the kids that she was taking care of had an accident, was hit by a car, and the first thing she did was take pictures of that. And in fact, I have been talking recently with people in my workshops that our creative self saves us from very strong emotions, because the creative self is not emotional, and photographing drama is a way to transform your own drama, your own inner drama. And apparently, as they say, some of her friends or people who knew her talk about the fact that she was probably abused during her childhood, or that she had gone through very sheer pain. And therefore I feel very similar in many ways with this compulsion for her work. I just feel the same, and except, so I feel deranged, or I feel, well, I've been in psychotherapy my whole life, except until last Wednesday. Hopefully I won't be wanting this anymore, therapy anymore, because I have my video camera and I have my method that I'm now using every day, or almost every day. So, but anyhow, I really identify with her, with this passion towards her work, and this loneliness, and this but the only thing which is totally opposite, or is it, is her apparent wish not to be seen, to hide herself. I think that perhaps consciously, well, they say that she had problems with men, and there I identify too, although of course in a different way, but I do have some problems with men, well, I'll talk about that in another video. I want to talk about something else with Vivian Maier, but they were asking themselves, why didn't she do that little bit you need to do to make your work seen? Little bit. It's not a little bit that you have to do to be seen. Perhaps in America it's this way. I don't really think so. But the thing is that I've done exactly the opposite. I fought and fought and fought to be seen, and I've got like good results, because my work has been seen and people know me. Not a lot of people, but quite a lot of people in Italy, in Spain, in UK, and some people around the world know my work, and therefore I can say that I am known, not worldwide as she is, of course. But then there was one woman who was saying that that her mystery is more interesting than her actual work. Her story is indeed extremely interesting. Her figure, her mysterious figure is indeed very interesting. And what's really interesting is this thing that she really hid from society, hid her work from society, but at the same time she produced passionately. And of course she wanted it to be seen. Later in the movie they say, well, she had contacted someone that would print her work in France, in a little village. So again, a little bit hidden, but for sure, an artist captures images, not only because you want it to be seen, also for yourself to assert your vision. And perhaps it was therapeutic for her. Actually, I'm quite pretty sure that it was therapeutic for her to continue to photograph and to say, I am here, I exist, and I have a vision. Yeah. So perhaps she was doing it mainly because of this. But at the same time, this asserting yourself in the world, in a world in which you don't really feel like fitting, and with this I can totally identify. I really think that this thing, that this asserting yourself with your pictures in the world in which you don't think you fit, in a way is also should contain a desire to be seen and to show yourself and your work to others. But perhaps her wanting to shut down into herself was something that that was very, very strong, and therefore she didn't want to. Perhaps her work was felt as so valuable that she didn't want to risk being rejected, perhaps. The thing is that this has been quite a strategy. Of course, her negatives could have gone lost, yeah, and it was lucky. I'm not saying she was lucky. I don't know if she wanted really, but it was lucky that John Maloof found that and sensed that that was something very, very powerful to discover. At the same time, there's Joel Meyerowitz, who is saying that that most of the time when people want to show him their work, you see as he sees these people, these photographers, as secondary figures, whereas he perceived her as a primary figure. Yeah. And of course, I have no doubt about that, and I have so her work, and actually in the movie, I think it's Mary Ellen Mark who says that her work reminds her of Lisette Model, of Gary Winogrand, or of even of Diane Arbus. In fact, I think that she could be seen as a parallel with Diane Arbus because of her personal drama, and because also she was attracted to poor people, and she identified with the poor, and this is something that I have too. At the same time, precisely because she's like a little bit like Gary Winogrand, a little bit like Diane Arbus, and I think that well, there were already big, really good photographers like her, yeah, doing more or less the same thing. What makes her really unique is her story. But also I want to discuss the fact that usually usually, well, I'm going to go back again to this uniqueness. I mean, the pictures that she took are absolutely amazing, high quality, but they can be, they are similar to these other big photographers, yeah? So she's sort of one more like them, yeah? But it's her story that is absolutely unique, and the mystery is also very attractive. But also what's really attractive is this contrast between hiding herself and then becoming completely famous worldwide. But also I think that what is very attractive is someone who is understated and who is very reserved, yeah? So society doesn't look good, it doesn't look with a positive eye, so to speak, to those people who want to be seen and show that they want to be seen, yeah? So in fact her strategy has been absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. I'm not saying that she did this as a strategy, but unconsciously what she did was absolutely amazing in terms of fame. And I'm sure that her name, Vivian Maier, is far more famous than Gary Winogrand, I mean, for instance, and probably a lot of people know Vivian Maier more than Diane Arbus. So it's her story, and it's her being understated and reserved, and not showing that she would like to be famous. Yeah, because of course society values certain qualities and undervalues others. No? So the first thing that this difference that I feel with me, and that has left me somehow sad after the film, and not only because of her sad story, although I'm not sure it is exactly a sad story. I find it incredibly resilient and incredibly powerful story. But it left me sad because I am the opposite, and I'm trying to make myself seen, and I declare that. But at the same time, I feel that I feel I'm more unique than her in my work, and not with also with my story perhaps, but the thing is that I feel that it's not so easy. It's actually very difficult to come out and to be successful when you are really open and declare what you feel, because this is tremendously uncomfortable. How many artists are saying that they envy each other's success, or that they would like to be famous in all the planet? This is something that you don't say usually. And I say this, I know that I could be very criticized because of this, because it would be cooler to pretend that you don't want that you don't care so much, and that it's, it's just like, yeah, as if it were easy to become famous. And it's not. It's tremendously difficult, tremendously difficult. Perhaps it's easier for some other people, I'm not sure. Perhaps I, like Vivian Maier, feel the world is hostile, and therefore, or I have felt that the world is hostile for many years, and And now, after my PhD, I don't feel that anymore, so that's really a good thing that I can sort of use in order to make my point. But the thing is that, okay, so if people criticize me because I want to be famous as an artist, first of all, if you criticize me because I want to be famous, perhaps you also want to be famous, but you don't want to recognize it to yourself. Because sometimes the desires are really very powerful, but they are hidden. Why? Because if you don't manage to make that dream come true, it becomes a failure. And therefore, it provokes difficult emotions and pain and frustration. And therefore, you better make believe, first of all, to yourself that you don't want that. So therefore, dreams are hidden in the closet. But I don't. And I don't hide these dreams, and I've been declaring them and admitting them the whole time. At the same time, and of course I try to make them true. I do my best to make them true. But it's not my only aim. I mean, my aim and my mission in this planet is to make SPEX really useful for as much people as possible, to make SPEX outlive me, and therefore that other people learn to use the method and take it forward, and perhaps with their own skills. That's why I'm training facilitators. So I do believe, and that's why I feel I'm an activist, I do believe that SPEX could contribute to change the world, and that's what I really want. I want to give my contribution to the construction of a better world. So even if I can do just a little bit, it's just worthwhile. So this is what I'm doing. And if I become famous, this would be much, much more powerful. But it's true that the desire to become famous is a desire, it's in itself a desire that comes from my childhood. Since I was a child, I really wanted to become famous. Why? Because I felt a piece of shit. And I had depression, I had really low self-esteem, I felt I didn't fit into this world, and I felt horrible. But at the same time, my dream was to become famous and accepted by the whole planet and desired. And I still have one foot in the pain, although a bit less recently, because of the PhD, because of this YouTube channel, because of many other reasons. And therefore it's like, it's not that I am only this desire to be famous. I am much more, and I'm my own pain as well. But I can go from one extreme to the other, so feeling like shit and then wanting to be, and thinking that I can be famous in all the planet, because I do think that I can. I do think that I'm an extraordinary artist, that I'm proposing things that are so uncomfortable that's why I'm not famous in all the planet, and that's why the institutions do not buy my work yet. Because it's very, very, very uncomfortable. But it is true, and let's face it, that just find another artist with my own story and kind of work. Because of course, I mean, let's talk about Nan Goldin, for example. I mean, I really believe that Nan Goldin did a fantastic work in the 80s and 90s with the Ballad of Sexual Dependency. But after that, I'm sorry, but she didn't do anything else. And she has been revered as a hero, as a heroine, as a star, only for a work that was, in a way, making drugs very, very cool. Like, creating a myth upon sex and drugs and rock and roll and that kind of life. No wonder she became really famous in Berlin, where there's a history of young people taking drugs and getting money from the government and not doing anything at all but feeling artists. Like, they revered her in Berlin because she's saying that, you know, being a drug addict is very cool. And the rest of her life, what has she done? What has she done? Please, I mean, but of course, since she is making this myth about something really negative, then she's not uncomfortable. She's not uncomfortable, actually. It is mythical, yeah? Whereas what is uncomfortable and what is not considered mythical is recovery, is working on the recovery and working on difficult emotions and pain and decontextualizing the pain so that other people can mirror themselves in this work. No, 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 no. She was depicting something that, you know, you could say, oh, the addicts, how cool, you know? And perhaps if I'm an addict, I would say, yes, I'm cool, you know? But there was no real conflict there. It was just people who were destroying their lives, which, okay, I mean, I don't regret that I've done that too. But I've been working to construct something and to heal and to recover and to prove that I can be something else, you know, with them. So I've been working on the multiplicity, on the wonderful plasticity of the human identity. Whereas in her work, it's as if, you know, it's labeling, pure labeling, and putting into a box. Whereas what I do is exactly the opposite. It's like getting out of all the boxes. So I'm declaring, I'm going to my TED talk and saying that I have been an addict and a prostitute, but I'm there on TED stage declaring so and saying that I have, you know, I have done research and I have transformed that hardship into something very positive and powerful, and that I'm doing and I have built a method which I have built it from my own pain, and then I'm facilitating other people's processes in order for them to transform the pain into art. But this is not cool. This is not cool. Yes, I'm talking about envy. I'm talking about envy, and I want to talk about envy freely, because also envy is another thing that artists won't ever say. They won't admit that they want to be famous in all the planet. They won't say that they are envious. I am envious of Nan Goldin and her success, because I do believe that she doesn't deserve it, that she's totally overvalued, too valued. There is no other value than the Ballad of Sexual Dependency, and she keeps on getting awards. So, I'm talking about this envy, and I'm wanting to declare it, because I do believe that it's so important. For me, it's essential to let go all my shit and to publish it and to share it. Not to pretend that I'm something else or that I'm cool. No? I don't want to pretend that I'm cool. I'm totally uncool. And it's about not creating figures that people will admire and think that they are nothing, whereas this person is just wow, you know? It's like these characters who become so famous, and that the thing that they provoke is to make other people feel like shit. But what I want to do is exactly the opposite. I want to show my shit, so that I want to say that I am human. And that's why when I go to work in a prison, I say my story, I tell them my story, and therefore I say, well, if I went out of drugs and prostitution, then you can too. it comes from my devotion to the human being, towards my devotion towards myself, of course. Anyway, I'm afraid of the critique, of course. I'm afraid of the critique, but it's okay. I will publish it anyway. I'm going to publish it anyway. And go on, criticize. The thing is that I'm doing it for myself because I know that if I express all this, I let go everything, then my inextinguishable inner fire is going to burn very strong, you know, and my energy is going to get stronger. So, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say all this because for me, the lack of huge success that I would like is painful as well. But I won't give up, and I will continue to work. And perhaps this is the way to work. I'm not going to show my work around right now, and I'm not proposing my work here and there, except for, well, some occasions in which I know that it's going to be more effective, but like grants and so on. But I think that this not because a lot of people might see this, but because I'm letting it go, and I'm doing something that nobody else does. Yes, this is why I think that this could bring me somewhere. But who knows? Who knows? And if it doesn't, it's okay, because if it doesn't, I mean, it is an important action that I'm doing by letting go this and publishing it and sharing this, what is considered shit, or what we are afraid to, that other people might judge on us. So, but please give me feedback. It would be very appreciated. And subscribe. Thanks.